Hello again, everybody. It's Takedown. Scott Casper with you. We continue our coverage of the sport. We stop in Iowa City. We haven't been there for a while. Our guest today, Big Ben Berhow, volunteer assistant for the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. He joins us now. Ben, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. It's been a while since we've seen you on the mat as a competitor from the University of Minnesota, but you found your way after a few years up there coaching to the University of Iowa. How did that all take place?
You know, after I got done competing, I stayed on and helped out at Minnesota as an administrative assistant, and was able to kind of be a behind the scenes guy and be around the program and help with the heavyweights. I was kind of at a crossroads where I didn't know if I was going to continue to try to train or stay on. So. Basically, I had a hip surgery, late in my senior year, and from there I just I haven't had the pop I used to have, and that kind of made my decision up as far as competing goes. But I'm still able to roll around and help get the best out of my guys. So that's good. But then basically. Working there, I got a call from Tom Brands, and I've had some calls from smaller schools, but obviously that one really stuck out at me. It was a great honor to be contacted by a program like Iowa, especially from Tom. So basically asked if I'd like to work with Bob Telford as part of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. And at the time, I was still finishing my master's degree in applied kinesiology, and at Minnesota. So it wasn't the right time. But I told Tom, I really don't want you to feel like I didn't consider this, and don't shut your door to me in the future. And sure enough, the next year, when Kurt Backus decided to move on, he. That position opened up, that volunteer assistant position opened up, and I was able to work it out with my schooling, and it was just a great move for me. So I'm very blessed to be here.
How much impact do you think you had on two-time NCAA heavyweight champ Tony Nelson? And that'll lead me into a follow-up on Bobby Telford. But talk to us a little bit about Tony Nelson and your impact.
Well, my senior year, I kind of was battling injuries and wasn't able to compete. It was a hard transition, but I knew we had a real talented guy coming in, and basically, in my mind, just being on the team still, it was my job to help him develop, and so really I coached him officially really for 2 years, but my senior year I was coaching him too, so. I had really 3 solid years with Tony, and where we wrestled quite a bit, whether during normal practice hours or after. And I don't know how much of an impact I had. The kid was strong. He's athletic. He was very committed. He did a lot for himself. So for me to speculate on how much impact I had. I know I wrestled him a lot, so and I know we spent a lot of time together, and just gave him any insight I had, from my experience, and obviously he did well. So whatever that means, he made me look good too, I guess. So
yeah. We're talking with Ben Berhow, and he's been hired by the University of Iowa. This is back in June. Our first opportunity to talk with Ben. One of the great honors that was bestowed upon you that you earned, I should say, is the Verne Gagne Scholarship Leadership Award as a junior. Verne was an old friend of ours, somebody I respected as an athlete, and a coach too. Verne was a tremendous leader, and getting that award said an awful lot about you as a person. Than I think most of the awards you won. Were you surprised when you got that award?
It was just a thing that really really makes you feel good. You know, in wrestling, you have a lot of ups and downs, a lot of rocks, a lot of bumps in the road. But you know, things don't always go your way.
Right.
You know, whether that's injury, whether that's whatever. You know, for whatever reason, you know, wrestlers aren't ones to make excuses. But to get that award was just kind of a I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. It was just kind of a great way for the team to vote for me on that award. The coaching staff really is who votes on it, and that they thought that I was a good leader to that caliber for the team was a great feeling.
Have your name connected with Verne Gagne is a pretty special deal for anybody in wrestling, but specifically those from Minnesota. You being from Albert Lee and Verne being from the central part of the city, so it's just an outstanding part of our history of the sport. Ben Berhow, our guest. Bobby Telford and Nathan Burak are going to be two of those guys that you'll have had your hands on. Bobby's still there, and I know you're going to be working with the weights of 197 and heavy. Will you ever dip down to 84?
Yeah, you know, it kind of varies. You work with all your guys. I mean, our coaches, we kind of work. I mean, Tom and Terry, they work with every heavyweights too, and we kind of, if we see something that we don't like or need to be fixed, we work with any weight. But just from a kind of why I was hired was to work with the bigger guys and just be a valuable training partner to them and not mentor, I guess, but just kind of to help them come along and just really focus my energy on those, the 84, 97 heavyweight, but mostly those top two weights. So
Sammy Brooks will get a benefit. Nathan Burak, Bobby Telford, the young Lance Evans out of Solon, the 6'2" freshman. I mean, right now, if we look at this room at Iowa, we're seeing, I think, the resurgence of the very talented upper weight, Sam Stoll. This is a great time for Iowa heavyweights, and I'm seeing this as we look forward, 5-10 years even. What are your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for us to get a guy like Sam Stoll, any guy that shows that kind of domination in high school, 60-some pins in a row, that catches anyone's eye, and he was a really highly recruited guy in his home state by the Gophers and by us as well, and for us to get him and it was a big thing. You want guys that are going to dominate. They have that mentality that winning isn't enough. You want to dominate by 8 or more points, or tech fall or pin. So seeing that quality about him was great. And Lance Evans, the same thing. He's very dominant, heavy. Very very athletic. Just got a big frame on him. He's got a lot of potential to put good muscle on, and just has a big frame. He's tenacious. He doesn't want to give anything up, and both of them are really good about asking questions and just getting better, and they have the mindset that you need for good development.
Mike McMullen up at Northwestern described a period of time for heavyweights where heavyweights really were two guys. He called them dancing bears. We're seeing, and being a former heavyweight, you know what I'm talking about. Two guys
absolutely
pushing against each other, hands locked up for whatever reason. They are just pushing, and no one wants to make a strike. Well, Bobby Telford's an exciting example of a different kind of wrestler. Talk about his improvement over the summer, because this cat can move.
Yeah, Bob is he's got a lot of different weapons from the feet, and we're really trying to get him to open up and hit the many forms of offense he has. not only can, a lot of times heavyweights, the hand fight is the most important part of wearing your opponent down, and there's not a whole lot of scrambling on a low level offense like you see in the littler guys. But Telford, he can do that. He can attack those low level offenses, and he's real good at them. He's effective. The top 3 guys in the rankings right now, Nick Gwizdowski from NC State, and then McMullen and Telford. They're all around 250. Telford's he's been doing good with his weight, keeping it up. He's about 270, 275 right now, and he's moving really well, and that's important. But those guys, they're able to move and scramble in those low leg situations without getting crushed, and that's, you see that's really what the one Gwizdowski in championship, he was able to keep the weight off him, and Telford's doing a great job there, and he can ride, he can ride guys, and that's something you don't see a whole lot out of him because he usually will win a match from his feet, but if we get a little bit more output from his feet, get him scoring, get a couple takedowns ahead, and then really hammer him on top, we're going to see I think we have a good chance of a title. So
it'll be a war for heavyweight for sure. You and I were talking a little bit off air about body styles, body types, height, weight. There was a recent study you and I were talking about. I think Coach Brands is aware of it as well. About most sports, the height of an average athlete in football, the weight, the body type of an average NFL player or collegiate football player. Wrestling was most notably left out of that study. When Coach Brands questioned that, he got a response from the author. Can you tell us what that response was? Because I thought the conversation at least begs a couple more questions, and I'd like to ask them of you. Can you tell us what the answer was?
Yeah, and again, I don't know if Coach Brands was the one that inquired, but I know the author, there was a direct response from the author. I don't know if Tom had heard about it. It might have been Tom that asked, but the author deliberately left wrestling out because there's no predictors in wrestling to suggest you're going to be good in the sport. And basically what that means is, you can be short, you can be tall, you can be fat, you can be skinny, you can be athletic. You don't have to be athletic. In the sense of athletic, it's hard to really quantify what athleticism is, but there's no predictor of you can be good at wrestling no matter of what you look like or what you how you're physically built. So there's really that's really a profound thing about the sport. You can be, you're it just goes. I think it's just another, quantifiable observation about the sport that I think we all knew, being how mental it is. We all knew that. Gable said himself, the sport is 90% mental,
right,
10% physical. But this is just another thing that points towards that. And if you're strong mentally and you're willing to work, doesn't matter how you're built or how you're, what talents you were given, you can be good
Coach
through hard work. So
Coach Ben Berhow joins us. Ben, didn't mean to interrupt you there. So continuing on in that conversation about there really not being any predictors or any determining factors that are going to make you good or not good when it comes to body style, height, reach, etc. We take a look at a Sam Stoll who's 6'3", Bobby Telford is 6'4", Gwizdowski is I think 6'2", Mike McMullen is shorter on the shorter range, about 6'1". And then we look at body style. Brock Lesnar, for example, University of Minnesota, 6'4", 6'5", literally cut from steel. Steve Neal, who beat Brock Lesnar, different body style completely. That really goes, I think, to your point of a wrestler. Has to start up here strong mentally and be able to work off that. Once you believe you can win, It doesn't really matter what your body style is. Depends on what your endurance is, your durability, and your ability to think beyond where you're currently at. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think the more you understand the process of especially the rigors of the Big Ten season, you know, you're going to have a tough opponent every weekend for that stretch in January and part of February, and you know, and obviously later part of December. But you know, you got to understand the process, and there's some wins that are going to be, you know, slimmer, and there's going to be wins where you have, you know, you dominate. But and there's going to be losses. You know, that's an inevitable part of the sport. Everyone has their losses, and that's how you get better. And you know, I think guys are, like you said, you know, sometimes get caught in the moment, and they need to understand the bigger picture. We're building towards the end of the season. We're building towards March, and you know, these hiccups along the way are just making you mentally sharper and getting you to where you can not make the same mistakes. And whether it's technique, whether it's we need to get you stronger, whether, you know, you got to get a little bit more endurance. You're able to examine that, and what a better way to do that than the wrestling the best guys in the country in your conference. So
coming up, we start the season traditionally with the All-Star Classic. It'll be held at the Palestra in Philadelphia at the University of Pennsylvania on November 1st. I got to believe, being one of those former wrestlers, a Big Ten wrestler yourself, still involved heavily in this sport as a coach, there's that gut feeling that the season is approaching so quickly. It's like a train. Do you get more amped up the closer the season comes?
Well, you know, I think naturally you get excited for competition, but really you got to stay amped. You got to have that competitive spirit in you in the off season too, and that's part of your training. If you don't have that, you got to draw energy from your teammates. You got to draw energy from the room. From you know, we always call that room, it's sacred ground. You know, you go in there, you're going to work, and you got to draw energy, and that's how you train. I mean, that's how you get the best out of yourself, and that's how you build for the season, for the you know, when the competition starts. Because once that starts, where you are traveling a lot, your mind's got to be in a place where you're ready for that. And so, yeah, yes, we're amped for competition, but we're amped all the time. We're amped during the off season, getting these guys ready and just continuing to build their wrestling.
This is going to be one of those years, isn't it? So, I mean, we've got the Maryland and Rutgers teams entering into the Big Ten. The Big Ten continues its growth. Competition is not getting any easier. The Hawkeyes currently tied with Cornell for second. Minnesota some points ahead based on returners and performance from last year. So never can really predict. All you can do is look at the rankings and go, yeah, it's a good idea, but now we just have to work. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, and I think anyone that's been in the sport of wrestling, and you know, especially Iowa fans that are, you know, for the most part very knowledgeable about the sport, they know that you know, it's rankings are an idea, just like you said, but they're no predictor. They're no set in stone. Well, just because these guys have the most returning points, I mean, anything can happen. You know, so we're, like you say, you get to work, you continue to build, and you coach your guys in their life, and you coach them on the mat, and you know, have their mind in the right place at the right time. So,
Ben, it's good to talk to you. I appreciate you taking the time. We don't often get to talk to great coaches like you, that specifically at the weights that you coach. I think heavyweights are a fascinating group of talented athletes, and I don't think people really understand how difficult 97 and heavyweight are. You and I perhaps have maybe are a little more akin to the heavyweights with weight and size, but it's a battle, it's a struggle, and it's an amazing trip. Congratulations on your career at Minnesota, on your continuing career as a coach. Is this just the next step? And I'm not calling Iowa a step, perhaps, but the job on your potential as a future head coach yourself.
As a coach, you always dream about someday down the road when you've acquired the amount of knowledge to give the job justice. That you take over a program and I'm in a position in my life now where I'm just very blessed with the wealth of knowledge here in Iowa and things I learned from Minnesota. Jay Robinson, Brandon Agam, Luke Becker, Jason Ness, all those guys that were extremely successful wrestlers, both on the collegiate level and the international level, and then coming here with just the hotbed of wrestling and what great things to have on your resume. But I'm really happy where I'm at, and I take my job real seriously, and maybe someday down the road, I might take the helm, but right now it's about learning from the best. The guys that have been there, done that, that have just a huge amount of knowledge about coaching. Not only coaching, but competing is one thing, but coaching is a different game. That's really what I'm here to learn and continue to learn, and so I can communicate with my student athletes the best I can. So
the Hawkeyes first hit the mat on the 21st of November. It's going to be an interesting season indeed on the way to Columbus, Ohio for the Big Tens, and after that St. Louis, Missouri, the March to the Arch there. It's going to be an outstanding year. I know it well. One of the reasons why Big Ben Berhow is coaching. He's Iowa's volunteer assistant coach. This is going to be an outstanding year. Fans, make sure you get your tickets. Follow along with the Hawks, HawkeyeSports.com online. Get your season tickets. If you don't have your tickets for the Iowa State meet, shame on you. That one will be sold out. I can guarantee it. It'll take place at Iowa City this year, and you want to be here for that big intra-state battle. Ben, good talking with you. We appreciate the time, and want to thank Chris Brewer as well for helping to set this all up. We appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much, Scott.